Okay. Um, right. So you guys are ready. Welcome again to my weekly design training. Welcome to my weekly design training where I share free design tips with designers. And I want to specially thank the designer that sent this design to me and my team to review. I'm going to be very proud if I don't introduce myself. All right. This is for the sake of those of you who are just joining us live. All right. And so my name is Eke Adetunji. I'm the founder of Ceasar Empowerment Foundation. And yeah, so the goal here, or why this channel exists, is to help creatives become better um designers. All right. So without any further ado, let's quickly jump into today's training. So I have the design I'm going to review already on my screen. So permits me to share my screen with you guys. Yep. Oh, sorry. I think I'm doing the wrong thing. Let me see. See. Okay. Yeah, I hope you guys can see my screen. Yep. So this is the design I'm going to review in today's training, and so many things here. All right, but I'm going to quickly share what is not working, what is working, and what is not working in the project. So let's start with what is working here. All right, now the first thing I love so much about this project is the illustration. All right, the illustration used in this project is perfect for the message in the project, although it's an AI generated image, and which is also part of what I'm going to talk about when I'm talking about what is not working in the project. So it's an AI generated image, and the illustration is beautiful. It's easy to understand, and yeah. So then the other thing I love so much about the project is the part where we can easily see the title, because I like the fact that the designer gave room for this. All right, there's enough space for us to see the title, and which is also part of what you need to learn to do right as a designer. All right. Yeah. Then the other part I love here is the part of the proximity, which is the grouping of the elements. I like the way the designers separate the logo. I mean, there's space here, and there's this distance between the logo and the title. And also we have the contact details here. All right. And we now have the illustration here. So this here, I like the way the designer used the illustration the designer used in the project, the way the designer played with the title, and also the grouping of the elements in the project here. I like it. All right, so let's go straight to what is not working in the design. Now, the first thing I noticed the designer did not do right here is the part of the placing image in the project. In graphic design, there's also the part of understanding how to place images. All right. You don't just place image without not putting some very important stuff in mind. All right. Now, I want to quickly share this. Please, if you have questions you want to ask me before the training, please drop a message in the chat box. I'm going to read it as soon as I'm done reviewing the design and answer your question. All right. Now, it's not compulsory you drop the question when I'm reviewing the design. You can always do this when we get to the process, the design process. That is my version. You can share your question with me, and I'll do my best to give you the answer that I believe is best for the question. Then the other thing I want to share with you guys again is, going forward, we're going to be having 2 design review training every week. We're going to be having one on Tuesdays, and we're going to be having on Friday. Now, today's meeting was supposed to be on Friday, but because of some technical reason, I couldn't make the meeting full. All right, so take note of that. Okay, so what is not working here? The first thing is the part of not placing the image right. Now, you see this here, all right, this image here, the way the image overlap on this illustration here is somehow, it's not, really okay. Yeah, I understand that, the idea was to make it look like this here is close to the viewers, all right, which is, yeah, fine. But your placing of image is also part of how you tell story in graphic design. When you don't place it right, with the way, like the way this designer did here, you're going to change the message. The message here is not to say that, hey, I want you guys to know that this is in front of these people only. Now, you can always do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But in a case where, you know that you are trying to promote a product, you're trying to promote a brand, like a design, all right? I'm talking of a product design to the viewers. You need to be careful with the way you put images behind it. Why? Because you see that product is also like the way you watch how you tamper with logos, all right? The way you avoid placing images behind logos. So I don't expect to see anything playing around this image, because this activities going on behind the product is adding to what we already have in the product image, and that is making this difficult for us to quickly see the beauty and the content on the product. So the best way to work with images like this or product image is to not place anything close to it, so as to not affect, the beauty of that product. And then another thing I noticed that the designer did not do well here, where the placing of image is concerned, is when you're trying to place a product image, avoid cropping the image, like this. Now, you can crop the image, all right, but you only do this for products that people already know. And if you're going to do that, it has to be, the name of the product need to be loud, even if you're going to crop the image. Like the way you crop it here now, at least I expect you to make this logo more bigger, because when you crop it, you're trying to make the viewers know that, hey, I actually want you guys to see this name. But in a case where that is not what you're trying to do, I don't think this is necessary. The way you crop the image here is not necessary. I know the reason why the designer did this was because he's trying to avoid not covering these people here, and also is also trying to make the products visible to the viewers. All right, but there are better ways to do this, which I'm going to show you when we get to my version of the artwork. And then the other thing I noticed that the designer did not really play with well here is the way the designer played with the title. I'm talking of the way the designer break the title. The title says, "While others sit in the dark, your party keeps going." All right. Now, you see this, your party keeps going, is too long for you to make it attractive to the viewers. When you're given a long title, see how you can pick the part of the phrase that sounds stronger to you. All right. And that's why when you're working on design projects, see yourself as the viewers. Think of something that, yes, when you see it, it draws your attention to want to go through the project. Another good way to work this way is, as human beings, we are programmed to always spot the difference whenever we see anything new, most especially when we see design. What we're always looking for is something that we know that we are used to, something unique, like something nice that we are used to, is what we're going to first look out for in the project. And the next thing we now do is to now look for the meaning of what that image is talking about, and that's where the title now comes in. But in a case where you now make the title too difficult for the viewers to see, you are going to affect the dynamic part of the project and also the part of helping your viewers find it easy to read the title. So if you're going to break this, all right, at least make it so simple that, you know, it's easy for people to quickly read, which I'm also going to show you how I was able to do this right in my version. And then also this part where we have this, this small information here, I can see the use of elements that are not elements that is not necessary, not are, because I can only see one element here that is not necessary, and that is the use of rule. These lines that you have here is not necessary. There are times when you use this, and if you want to understand how to use this, all right, go watch my last week tutorial where I use rules so as to understand when to invite this element to your project. All right, then the last thing I'm going to say here is the part of the logo. This glow effect you have on the logo here is not necessary. All right, it's not really necessary. Why? Because you're actually calling attention to the logo this way. All right, and logo are not really, you don't really need to call attention to brand logo. Why? Because nobody care about the brand except if the brand have started solving problems that people are used to. All right, what people are looking for is, how can you help us? How can you make life easy for us? So when you are now calling attention to something that is supposed to be less important in the project, you're going to make the project confusing, because light effects are attention grabber. What we use them to do in graphic design is to call the attention of the viewers to the important information in our project. So you don't just apply glow to any element in your project when you know you are not trying to use it to pass a message. And another wrong way where you use this glow effect is concerned is the attention is even more stronger on the line than the name of the brand itself. So this here, the playing with this is not necessary. It's not okay. Now, before I get to my version, I want to quickly share this. See, graphic design is like you telling a story. All right, it's like when I say, okay, I have a story I want to tell you, and I say, let's say the story is about a boy who is from a poor home, and then he now later became a successful person. And I started the story by saying, okay, there's a guy who is from a poor family, and then there's this snake that went to buy food from a woman, and then this snake now ate the food. And after the snake finished eating the food, then the lion came to the house, and then this boy, and then I went back to the story of the boy again by saying, okay, so this boy went to school, he couldn't afford the school fees, and then I now say, okay, so the cloud now opened, then rain now fell on the plant, and then the plant started growing, and then from there fruit came out, and then the next morning the light, they now break, and then they now went to bed. So that's how it is when you use elements that are not necessary in your project. It's like you telling story that is not, balanced. All right. So when you're putting together your elements, that's why you need to understand how to use all the design elements. If you don't know how to use them, go to the internet, search for design elements and how to use them. I'm sure you'll see so many articles. You'll see so many illustrations that explain what each of the elements means. So whenever you're putting together your element, okay, this is the message I want to pass here. So I need to use this to pass the message. And before I get to my to the next step of this meeting, designers, we are not only visual communicators, we are also students. All right. Every designer must learn the habit of doing research. You need to learn the habit of learning. All right. Don't just be those type of designer that, yes, because you know how to use Photoshop or you know how to use Illustrator or CorelDRAW, you feel yes, you're good. No, 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 no. There's also the part of the education part of graphic design that you need to also, focus on. All right. So I'm going to show you guys my process, and I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy this. All right. So who's ready for this? Let's see. And okay. So yeah. So like I always say, I'm a fan of starting with the background. All right. And I started with the illustration. And like I said, I noticed the illustration is AI generated image. So what I did was, because I noticed there are some, and that's another thing you need to learn to do whenever you're putting together illustration in your project. There are some errors I noticed on the image of the people dancing. Their faces are not clear. So one of the ways to hide this is to make the picture smaller, like I did here. And I used the Photoshop content aware fill to fill the empty area, which is the white area that we have, in the project there. So you can always watch how to achieve this content aware effect with from the internet. I think the shortcut I use after drawing the marquee selection is I hit Shift F5, and then I have that window that I hit the OK button that fill that area for me. Then I use the content aware scale, which is also part of the using filling the empty area in your project. So I noticed there are some errors after filling the empty area. So I use the spot healing tool to fill that area where I have the errors. Now, watch how I place the image here. The reason why I decided to place the image where you're looking at it there is because the color of the image is white. So I need a background that can contrast the image in order to make it visible. Now, one of the good ways to work this way is no matter how small you make the image, it will surely be visible because the background of the image is dark and the product is bright. So when you place it on a dark background, it will surely draw attention. So I decided to apply a reflection in order to make it look like, yes, the background is actually like a wallpaper, and then there's a floor where we have the product that's made us see the reflection of the product there. Then I went straight to the play with the title. I'm a fan of watching out for white space a lot. All right. And notice when I was playing with my title, I tried as much as possible, to avoid avoiding things close to the title there. And watch how I splitted the title there. I use party keeps going. So when people see the word party keeps going, and then they notice people dancing, and then they now see party keeps going. So the next question that they will ask themselves, because whenever you're working on design project, one of the things you need to learn to do is create project that will make the viewers ask themselves question. And when you post a project that make viewers ask themselves question, that means the project is successful. So the idea behind making the title party keeps going is to make the viewers ask themselves question like, okay, so why is the party going? And then this will now make them to go and check the next information in the project. All right, that's why you need to create project that will post questions to the viewers. Then I decided to use the handwriting character to make the project more friendly. All right, to make it look like, yes, this is actually something that, yes, something related to man. All right, something that is friendly to use. Do you understand? Something that is not going to give you any issue. And that's the reason why I decided to use the handwriting font. Now, when you use handwriting font, is actually part of the ways you depict friendly in your project. And that's the reason why I introduced that character there. Then, yeah, so I noticed my title is too small. All right, so I decided to make the title 3 lines and to, make it bigger in order to make it more visible to the eye. And I achieve what they call unity here by picking the color from where we have the light. That's the party, the down floor of the building where we have the light. I pick the color from there and I applied the color to the title to create unity, like to make the people know that yes, the down floor where we have the light is connected to the title. And that's why if you notice, we have party keeps going, and then that part where we have the party keeps going is where we have the light. So that's one of the ways you can achieve unity in your project. All right, so I like the way the designer introduced the use of icon in the project, so I repeat the same move because the use of icon is also part of how you quickly make your viewers know what they are looking at. So the icon is more like illustration. They are more like voices, like voice that explain something to the people. All right. And yeah, so I got this icon from Google Image. So I type contact icon and Google gave me this phone icon that you're looking at here on my screen. And the reason why I decided to use the square icon is because the shape of the product is in form of a rectangle, which is also similar to the square family. And if you look at the illustration, you notice we have more of rectangle and square. So I decided to still use that square icon on the title to really give that continuation or rhythm in the project there. So, and that's the reason why I repeated that the use of that shape on the icon there. And I hope you guys, I'm sure you guys are enjoying this, and I'm sure you can agree with me that the project is looking successful as you're looking at it. And if it's not looking successful to you, please kindly drop a message and let me know what I did not do right, so I can learn from you guys also. All right. So yeah, I think that is it. And if you have questions you want to ask me, you are free to drop your question in the comment box. I'll do my best to give you the answer that I believe is best for the question. All right. And for those of you that are just joining us, I passed an important information here. All right. And I said we're going to be having this meeting twice every week now. We're going to be having it on Tuesday and we're going to be having it on Friday. All right. Now, the Tuesday meeting is not going to be YouTube live. All right. It's going to be in our Telegram group. So if you wish to be part of the group, you can make use of the Telegram link in the description section of this video. Click on it and you are going to be part of us. Now, if you want your design to feature in any of our upcoming trainings, you can send it to any of the admin and not Ceasar Graphix. All right, just send it to any of the admin. It will surely get to me, and my team will surely let you know when your design will be featured in our training. So for the YouTube live, we're going to be doing that every Friday. We're supposed to do it yesterday, but because I was going through some technical issue, I couldn't make the meeting hold. So anytime you notice we didn't do it on Friday, trust me, I'll make sure I do it on Saturday. All right. Yeah. So if you have questions you want to ask me, you can drop your question. And before we go, I want to quickly seek one very important help from you guys. All right. So we're looking at taking graphic design to the streets. All right. I want to start helping young people who can't afford to pay for design school, because we get calls a lot from these guys saying they can't afford to buy data to use the internet to watch tutorials or my trainings. And I remember I was once like these people. All right. Luckily, I was lucky to meet someone that opened my eyes to graphic design, and it was a physical training. All right. And that's the reason why I want to do the same thing to people who can't afford, to go to design school. So yeah, we're doing a free training for people that wants to learn design, and we're looking at getting so many things like space and gadgets, in order for us to meet, our goals. And this is where we need you to support us. So if you have anything, any amounts you think you can support us with, kindly make use of the account details on the screen. No amount is too small, no amount is too big. All right. Any amount that comes from you will be highly appreciated. Okay. And for those of you that want to support us outside Nigeria, I'm going to drop a seller link in the description section of this video so you can send your contribution to the account information. Yeah, I think that is it. And I'm not sure we have questions. No question from you guys. I love you guys too. I'm seeing your messages, guys. I love every one of you also. So yeah. So Tuesday, please do your best to be part of the meeting. We're going to be doing the meeting 7 p.m. on Tuesday, live on Telegram, and on Friday, 7 p.m. on YouTube. All right. So yeah, I think I have a question, and the question is, what do I do if my designs don't feel mature and strong like your works? What could be missing? What could be missing? I may replicate a layout, but my overall design looks immature. All right, beautiful question there. Now, the reason why your design is going to look immature is because you have not really take time to discover yourself. All right. Yeah. Every one of us have the type of design we love to do. And that our type of design is what we are supposed to always use to solve design problem for clients. All right. If you go into design because, okay, I have a friend who is making it as a designer, or I want to start paying my bills, you may not really get why you are going into the business. So every one of us have what make us unique. I know some of you may look at this like, okay, so how am I supposed to know what makes me unique? All right. So for somebody like me, I went into design because I love movie posters. And that's why you notice most of my projects are more of movie poster like. So if you ask me to work on any project, it's that style of design that I always use to solve design problem. That's the first thing. Then the other reason why you feel your design is not mature is because you are not focusing on the message. That's another very big problem that so many of us still don't get right. Every design project have a job to do, and that job is to influence the reader. Now, you cannot influence the reader when you don't understand the problem you're asked to solve. It's like you going out to a place that you don't even know the direction to the place. You're going to start looking at yourself like, okay, so is anything wrong with me? Like you find yourself outside and you don't even know where you're going. So that's the same thing that applies to when you're working on a design project without knowing the problem you are asked to solve. Let me tell you one of the things that really spark creativity. When you know the problem, I'm telling you, you will be creative. When you know the problem you're asked to solve, you will surely be creative. The reason why it's easy for me to do this design I showed you guys today, or what you're looking at on my screen here, is because I know the problem here. The problem is promote a brand that is into selling of solar batteries or solar gadgets. All right. So two things must be visible. Two things must be visible in the project. Excuse me. The first one is the illustration that draws the attention of the viewers to the piece, and that's why you need to. And that's why when you notice when I was reviewing the design, I made mention of not putting anything close to the image. Why? Because the illustration, the reason why we use illustration in our project is to draw the attention of the viewers fast. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is to tell a story. All right. So your illustration must be clean and clear and easy to understand. And that's why I praise this designer for using this type of illustration for the project. So once you are clear with the right illustration, then the next thing is, what exactly are we promoting that inspire this illustration? Then you now make that also visible. Now, you don't make the two illustrations share similar size. Why? Because share the same size. Excuse me. When you make them share the same size, then the message will be lost. One need to be bigger than the other. Now, some of you may now be saying, So how am I supposed to know which one needs to be bigger than the other? That is where your decision comes in. It's your world. You are the one who is making the decision. You are the one who is doing what you think is best in the project. So you will now be the one to say, okay, this is what I want to make bigger. This is what I want to make smaller. Why? Because if it's image that you're placing in the project, no matter how small you make it, it will surely draw attention. So understanding the problem you're asked to solve is another thing. Your lack of not understanding the problem you're asked to solve is what mostly makes us go get inspiration from design project, and we feel my design is still not there. Why? Because that design that you draw inspiration from, the designer made that design with the understanding of the problem that he or she needs to solve. Like, for example, now I'm asked to do a design that say a new day. You know, if I use a picture that shows a sunrise image, and then I place if I use the sunrise image, I've already helped myself with knowing how to play with the other element, because once I've gotten the right illustration, then the freedom to do whatever I like with the image will pop in, because I've already captured what the problem is. So immediately you know what the problem you're asked to solve, then you know the right thing to do. Then you now start seeing yourself doing the unexpected with, you know, the project. So know the problem you're asked to solve. Always ask questions. Most designers we don't always want to ask questions. You feel when you ask questions, the clients may think you don't know your job. Let me tell you, the part of your asking question is part of your job. In fact, when you ask questions, it makes them look at you like this person knows what he or she is doing. So when you don't know what you're supposed to do, you're being able to do something good is going to be difficult. And when you go to draw inspiration from another design, you will just be picking something that looks unique to you in the design. Meanwhile, that thing you are picking that looks unique to you, your project doesn't need that thing. It's like the design I did last week where I used rules. I'm talking of lines. If you go and use line in your project because you feel, okay, the version Ceasar did, the design that Ceasar did looks beautiful, you use line here, and that line makes that part of the project beautiful. If you don't use that line, if the reason why I use the line is different from the reason why I use the line, the project won't look successful. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense to you. If it's making sense to you, please give me a thumbs up here, because it looks as if I'm the only one that is enjoying myself, and I have my screens in front of me here. I can only see myself. I can't see you guys. So I need you to help me if what I'm saying here is making sense to you. So for the part of the layout, all right, your illustration is what mostly inspired the layout you're to use in your project. All right. If you look at the artwork you're looking at here on my screen, you'll notice that there's a way I play with the layout. The reason why I decided to place this information here is because, and that's another thing I want to say here. I've shared this with you guys before, that don't see the elements in your project like they are just type, images, what else again? Colors. See them as shapes. All right. See them as shapes. So this here is a shape. This is another shape here. So the reason why, and this one here is also another shape. This is another shape. Please, I want you guys to take note of this thing I'm teaching you. All right. This is another shape here. So how I was able to place this here is because this shape here, there's a line here, and this illustration is what inspired it. So this line here is what say, okay, place this here. All right. So when you're placing elements, see them as shape. Most time, your illustration is what inspired the layout in your project. All right. Your illustration is what inspired the layout in your project. Another good place where I can place this information here, because this is not the only way to place the content in this project. I can always place this here because I can see something like a box here. So this can still come here. So those boxes are like space for you to place your content. I can still put something here. I can't put something here. Why? Because there's space here. There's space here. There's space here. Now, don't say because I'm drawing this space here, now you not think, okay, so that means this space is only this is the only space you have. No, that's what I'm saying. No. This is let me put it this way so you guys will understand. This is a space here. This is another box here. This is another box, or should we call it frame? But inside this box is here. These are the only place where I have space that I can place content. The same thing with this. I hope I'm making sense here. So space here, and space here. So if I have other information I want to place in the project, I'll just put them here, here. Maybe there are points, all right, maybe like features that I'm supposed to use in the project, and I'll just put them where I have all this space here, and it will still fly. So see your elements as shapes, like boxes. All right, see them as boxes. So when you have illustration you want to use in your project, or don't even boxes, like shapes, because there are some illustration that will come in this form, in form of like, let's say water or amoeba shape. You see that flow here is your layout. So if you're going to place anything, continue with this flow. Now I'm not saying you should now put your text like this. You can do that if that's going to help the project. But what I'm saying is, place your content here. So it will look as if that information you place here is resting on this. All right, please don't mind this my shape. I'm just trying to make you guys understand something here. All right, there's another space here. I can still place another information here. So your layout, your illustration is what mostly inspired the layout in your project. And that's why as a designer, when you have any image you want to use in your project, take your time to understand the image. If you check the design I reviewed last week, you'll notice that the hand of the lady, the hand that the lady raised, is what inspired the way I place the content in the element in the project. Okay, I think that's it. So please, what's this person's name? Chris Newakio. Please, if I did not pronounce your name correctly, pardon me. All right. If you're okay with my answer, please let me know. All right, so let's take one more question. All right, so this is coming from T Gold Spirits, and the question is it advisable to position myself as a branding agency with a team while I've not built my own personal identity online? Yes, but you do this if you are trying to learn how to run a brand agency, because every one of us needs to learn. You cannot be you can't know anything without a teacher. All right, even life is a teacher itself. So you have to first learn, if that's the goal. All right, but if you've already learned, then you can start promoting yourself and let people know that yes, you have your own brand agency. Okay, yeah. So this is going to be my last question today. And the question is, what do you do if a client says a design looks basic and can't provide feedback to improve the design? This is another good question here. When a client say your design look basic, then you now need to ask the client that, how do you define a design that looks basic? Now, some clients don't even know what they want. So you ask them, please help me. How do I know a design that looks basic? Why? Because if you say it looks basic, this is not looking basic to me. So let me know how a basic design look. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because your taste is different from my taste. There are some designs that, like, if you and I see the same design, what I'm going to copy from the design is possibly going to be different from what you're going to copy from the design. And the reason why is because we all have different tastes. We all have things that we fall in love with. I'm not a fan of ice cream. I don't like licking ice cream. If you buy me ice cream today, I'll tell you thanks. But if you buy me a gift and I say thank you, it means yes, I really appreciate that thing. So you need to ask the client, how do you tell when a design is basic? Don't be afraid. And if the client says, you're supposed to know now, tell the client that, my taste is different from your taste. All right. What I call basic is different from what you call basic. So the client will now say, when the design is like this, okay, so even if you can't define what a basic design look like, can you share the type of design that you like that always looks successful to you? Then you now see them going to check online to search for designs that look successful. They do this. I've tried this several times, and clients don't always tell me no. Even if they tell me, I don't know what I want. If you tell them, can you share designs that you've seen online or somewhere, or any brand that you like what they do, that you can share their designs with me, then they go and send you designs of different brands. And then you ask them another question. So why are all this design? Why do they look successful to you? Then you hear them say, I don't know, I just like the way they play with color. When they say color, write it down. That color is their favorite color. When they say, can you see how clean the illustration they use? Can you see how clean it is? If you say clean, so is there anything that make it clean to you? You hear them say, can you see the guy they use? He's handsome. Write it down. You must go and look for somebody who's handsome. Look at the lady. She's beautiful. A lady. I like the way they place their logo. It's so clean. Nothing is close to it. You know, their logo is so simple. There are times where their own logo is not simple. So you have to tell them, for that logo part, you need to change your logo. I don't know if I'm making sense here. Please, if what I'm saying is making sense to you, let me know, because really, I have so many things I can teach you guys about working for clients that, you know, your designs will look successful to you and the client. And another thing again is never work on any design projects to satisfy yourself. The job is not for you. Forget the fact that you're asked to work on it. The job is for the client. So your job is to satisfy the client and the viewers. Do you understand what I'm saying? And there are times where, as designers, you need to educate your clients. It's not everything your clients say that you must fall for. Don't be a designer that is always waiting for the client to tell him or her what to do. You know, some of us are good at clients saying, move it here, shift it up, go left. If you are those type of designer, I'm telling you, for you to grow in any organization you're working for, it's going to be difficult. So if you are those type of designer that is your client that is always telling you, move the element right, move it left, move it up and down, you need to go and work on yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? So as a designer, you need to learn the habit of educating your clients. And that's why you also need to go and learn about the element of design and the principles of design. I've helped you guys a lot. Every of my design review training, even if I go back to check the review training, I always go like, wow, did I actually explain this to these people? So you can always go back and watch the tutorial to help yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go back and watch it. And one good thing, one of the things I think I always do that really helped me as a designer is I don't joke with watching anything design training. In fact, if I'm not the one doing this for you guys, if I see a designer doing it, I'll watch it, because I'm sure that the designer will say something that sounds new to me, or even the one that I'm already used to. There's a way the designer will break it down to me that it will wake up something again inside of me. Like some of you are already awake now. Do I have a witness? If I have a witness, can I see you drop a message and say, you have a witness, Ceasar? All right. So, yeah, I think that is it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this training. I don't know about you. I really had fun doing this, for you guys. And do your best to always make it to our weekly design training. If I do it like you're watching a movie, I'm sure you guys, if you notice the way I do this for you guys, it's not really like a training like that. It's like a design conversation with designers. It's not like I'm saying, so the move tool is used for this. No, you'll notice I'm talking to you guys like we're gisting, like we're chatting with each other. All right. So yeah. So please do your best. Hope I have a witness. Thank you. I thought nobody was going to drop a message. Thank you, Oluomachi Precious, for that message there. All right. Thank you, everyone. I need to go, and I'll see you guys again next week. Bye for now.